Hey, fool, this ain't no football game.
Emma's a pimp!
Wait until the Reaper takes my life.
Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-a-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome back, fellas and ladies, to Fantasy Sports Island. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Johnny freaking Ballgame.
How we doing, Chuck? How we doing, Reap?
Johnny, I know you're doing well in our sleeper league where all the hosts play on one league. You have advanced to the second round of the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
You destroyed the fantasy Rolls Royce. Is that correct?
That is correct. And if he would come on here every now and then, he might have, gotten some better advice.
Yeah, that. And then yours truly, Fantasy Reaper, got reaperized basically by Tony. Tony whooped my ass, and I'm out in that league as well.
But listen, you're still alive in the big money, right? So let's keep it all in perspective.
Yes, keep it all in perspective. And for you folks that advanced to the second round of your playoffs, congratulations. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island, because we're doing this for you. It's a playoff edition. We got all kinds of good stuff for you tonight. We got news and notes, playoff time waiver wire gems, a little segment we call Johnny Ballgames Go with Your Gut, playoff edition, by the way. And then we have our starts and sits of the week. John, it's a fantastic show tonight. What should the folks do?
I'll tell you what they should do. If they like it, like it. You know what I mean? Like, if you like what you're seeing, like that sucker. Hit the little bell. Let it tell you when we're going to be back on. Come on. You know.
I mean, why, John? When do we do this?
Every freaking week-ish. Like, sometimes we have a bye week. But you know what I mean? Like, almost every freaking week.
Yeah, like you said, and if we don't do it 1 week, too freaking bad.
It's our podcast. We do what
we pretty much do this every week. We plan to be here every week. And at some point, when the season's over, maybe we'll cut it down a little bit. But right now, in the thick of your playoff hunt,
we're here for you.
For you. That's right, Johnny.
Right for you.
That's right. So we'd also like you to comment on the show. If you have any ideas for segments that you might like or ideas for anything else, just let us know. Put it in the comments section. We will make it happen for you.
Maybe you got a nice sugar cookie recipe for Christmas. I don't know. Maybe it's something for Kwanzaa you want us to have on here. Let's do this, people. It's holidays. Give, and we will give back to you.
That is right. And we want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas, because this show is done right before Christmas weekend. By the way, guys, football. Lots of games on Saturday. This time, almost all the games are on Saturday, which is weird. It is weird. So make sure you get the lineup set for Saturday. Also, the most important thing you can do for our content is if you share it with others. If you like what you see beyond liking and commenting and all that good stuff and subscribing, just share it with someone else.
Get some people.
Some people interested.
People helping people. People helping people. Just trying to get honest.
Yes, please. Here we go. Fantasy Sports Island. Let's start with, John, I just want to throw a couple of fantasy nicknames out at you. We haven't done this in a while. I just had a couple based on what happened this week. What do you think about my quarterback in Baltimore, Tyler Hump Daddy? Because he never really gives you what you really want.
Wow. We stretched a little on that one, but we'll take it as a warm-up. All right.
I mean, can we get Mandrews the freaking ball?
Oh, God. I think he's humpless because he's not humping anything out there.
Hey, you're telling me.
Yeah.
But you know what? In San Francisco, you have Christian McCaffrey.
I like that one. That was a nice one.
All right. How about Jalen Hurts if you have him for Week 16? Hey-yo. We'll talk about that in a minute. Speaking of hey-yo, how about Hey Jones out in Jacksonville? 3 touchdowns.
That's
John,
a good one, by the way. Yeah,
do you know that Zay Jones is a top 20 wide receiver now?
it's insane. Play Jones, you mean?
Yeah. And I have Justin moving on up Jefferson because
Okay.
he's now wide receiver 1, and it's by a long shot.
Yeah, by a lot. Yeah.
And Johnny Ballgame took Justin Jefferson over Cooper Kupp.
Sure did.
Brilliant move. Good for you,
Sure
Johnny.
did. Sure did.
All right. News and notes. Let's go on to some quick news and notes. We have a few here. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni confirmed Tuesday that quarterback Jalen Hurts has a sprained right shoulder, but he isn't ruling him out for Sunday's game. Actually, it's on Saturday. Saturday's game against the Cowboys. Meanwhile, tight end Dallas Goedert has been activated off the IR. I'm just going to say it, John. Coach Nick Sirianni might not rule out Jalen Hurts for Saturday's game, but Jalen Hurts ain't playing Saturday.
No, he's not. Because why would you put him in harm's way in Dallas with that defense? They play really good against really good teams. They play crap against crappy teams. They play really good against good teams. And so you got that rush coming at him. He's a running quarterback who's real physical. I'd rest him up. I'd get that shoulder ready. They've already clinched the playoffs. They're going to the show. So you might as well just let him rest, man. Let him heal up. Also, Sirianni's already talking about Gardner Minshew. He's a warrior. He's ready to step in anytime. Like, he's already talking about that. Hurts isn't playing.
Yeah, I don't see the point. I mean, they basically have like a 90-some-odd% chance of the having the best record in their conference. There's no reason to risk further injury. You got to let him heal up. Jalen Hurts isn't playing this week. And you know what, folks? If you have Jalen Hurts, you better be making preparation for not having him next week as well, because I don't think he's going to play.
This is why Chuck, if I could, just real quick. This is a really good reason why when you start to get ready for the playoffs, you try to get a quality backup quarterback for stuff like this. You try to back up your running backs for stuff like this. Try to get a quality backup wide receiver for these kind of things, man, because this is what can take you down. You might have got a great team all year. You get in the playoffs, Hurts has a sprained shoulder, and it's round 2 of your playoffs. And guess what? You don't have Hurts now. So you better have a good backup.
Excellent point, John. That's true. This is why you prep. Another thing you can do is if you're in head-to-head matchups and you have extra roster spots, start dumping those guys you're not going to use and start adding guys that you think your opponent might need. You might look on he might have Jalen Hurts. So now you're looking at the quarterbacks on the waiver wire and you're like, he could use this guy. Let me pick him up and block him. I mean, these are strategies you could use.
Nice. Talking cutthroat over here.
You got to be cutthroat, especially in head-to-head leagues, of course. All right. The Green Bay Packers waived wide receiver Sammy Watkins yesterday right before the Monday night game. The Ravens claimed him off the waivers and at the same time put Devin Duvernay on the IR to end his at least regular season. So, I mean, Sammy Watkins, can he help the Ravens?
I mean, maybe a little bit. First of all, it depends on who played quarterback. Is Lamar back yet? Is it Huntley? I think the only wide receiver right now I'd even consider having is Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, I think it does boost Demarcus Robinson's value, but we need Lamar Jackson back because he is the only guy that uses the wide receiver on that team. When he doesn't play, it's worse than when he does play, it's bad, but when he doesn't, it's even worse.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
All right. Running back Jonathan Taylor's season is officially over, so you can go ahead and drop him. He was placed officially on the IR, ending his season. So that was my league winner pick last week because of his schedule. He's gone now. I apologize. You're not going to have Jonathan Taylor. Time to pivot. Jonathan Taylor, was he the biggest disappointment in fantasy football because of where you had to draft him?
Yeah, I think he had to be, right? I mean, he was top pick for almost everybody. Top 3 for if you had a couple of people like you and I who gambled and took other people, but he's still in that top 3. So it's the most disappointing one I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, I was smart enough to stay away, and so were you. I took McCaffrey at 1. You had the 2. You didn't take him either. You took Justin Jefferson. So we lucked out, It's not that I didn't think Jonathan Taylor was good. I just didn't think the magical repeat of last season is possible, and it was not ultimately. And now I'm sitting pretty with Christian McCaffrey, so I'm counting my blessings.
Feeling pretty good about it. Yeah.
Feeling pretty good. All right. Last little bit of news. This is from college football, but it is NFL relevant. Texas Longhorns running back Bijan Robinson declared for the NFL draft for 2023. John, the reason why I mention this is because this guy is special. He is the next Breece Hall coming into the league, and if he lands on a good roster with a good offensive line, he is going to be a fantasy gold first-round pick.
Yeah, he's so good. You almost think the Ravens are going to want to get him because he's got a French first name or last name. You know, like they seem to get all the Duvernays and all those guys. So yeah, so you think the Ravens might get Bijan, but no, that guy's gonna be freaking amazing. He's gonna be a monster.
Absolutely, he really is. He's a stud. He's when he goes through the combine, he's going to set all kinds of like high bars for everyone else because his numbers are off the chart. So
yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for next year when I draft Bijan.
Hopefully that goes better than the Breece.
I mean, it was a good pick. It was a good pick. Can't predict injury, Johnny.
I know. But Breece looked great. You were right on him. You were on him the whole time too.
Yeah, I'm still on him. I'm still on him.
Oh,
next
me too.
year.
Yeah. I'm on the Jets next year, actually.
Waiver wire gems.
Playoff time. Waiver wire gems. Week 16 edition. Here we go. Let's start with the Eagles. Gardner Minshew is now a viable pickup on the waiver wire. They're playing the Cowboys. John, would you, if you had Jalen Hurts, would you pick Gardner Minshew?
No, I wouldn't. No. Look, Gardner Minshew's a great story. Everybody loves him. Love the mullet. Love the shorts. Dallas is a really good opportunistic defense. Gardner Minshew's a little sloppy with the football. He hasn't played. He's going to be a little rusty. They're going to go after him. It's in Dallas, by the way. Just a little reminder there. So stay away from Gardner Minshew.
All right. Zach Wilson has been named the starter again. Mike White is still not ready, and they're playing Thursday at home against the Jaguars. Good matchup. Zach Wilson, although we don't like him, he had a good fantasy day last week, and he could have another good fantasy game this week against the Jags. Do you pick him up on the waiver wire if you're desperate? Say you have Jalen Hurts, and you don't want to go Gardner Minshew. Do you go Zach Wilson?
Yeah, you could, right? I mean, there's a couple of other guys that are probably out there if Zach Wilson is also available. He's viable. He's not my favorite. I mean, if you're desperate, you could do worse. That's as good as I could give you for a Zach Wilson endorsement.
I'm not endorsing picking up Zach Wilson and playing him. That is, hopefully, if you have Jalen Hurts, you had someone viable like Dak Prescott or someone like that to back him up. But if you didn't and you need to go to the waiver wire, I guess Zach Wilson is, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, if you have him and you're starting him, it's probably gone terribly awry. Something's gone wrong for you this year.
This is why I don't advise going with one quarterback, even if you have the best and you're thinking along the lines of, well, if he gets hurt, I'm screwed anyways. But I mean, if you had Jalen Hurts, he got you through the entire fantasy season, and then in the playoffs for one, you need just one more win to get to the championship. You could get by with a viable backup if you were smart enough to have one. But if you're just going on the waiver wire, it's going to be tough.
One other thing about that too, Chuck, is any good backup you have is somebody not on somebody else's roster. So
Correct.
You mentioned it earlier. It's a little bit of playing defense as well.
Good point. All right, let's go to the running backs for the waiver wire. Tyler Algier in Atlanta. So Huntley had a good game last week, but he's injured, and it looks like he's going to be out. They are playing the Ravens this week. And, they're trying to look at the youth movement they have in Atlanta now. They're pretty much out of the playoff picture. So do they look at Tyler Algier? Do you pick him up? maybe they were going to get off of Cordell.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really use Cordell that much. Cordell got a touchdown, so he did get you that. But if you're looking at him for, I'm trying to think of who they play. Who's only going to play? Do you remember this week?
Playing the Ravens.
Yeah, see, that's a tough defense anyway. I mean, they're not the defense of old, but they're still pretty tough.
They're really good against the run.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're desperate, maybe, but I wouldn't. I mean, I would pick him up if you have space, so somebody else doesn't get him, because I think the following week's a nice week. So if you need him for then, he's a good young talent. But no, I wouldn't play him this week.
Okay. Now for the Colts, Jonathan Taylor's out. That opens up an opportunity for Zach Moss and or Deion Jackson. Both are available on most waiver wires. I went out and I picked up Zach Moss in a couple different leagues because he got 24 carries last week after the injury to Taylor. I think he's going to get the volume. They play the Chargers this week. They also play like really bad teams the last 2 weeks after that against the run. So who do you like, John?
I like Zach Moss of the two, and I like Zach Moss of the two. Like I would pick him up. I'd consider starting him this week. I really thought he looked really good. I was actually kind of surprised how good he looked. So again, I think he's getting a command of the offense every week. They trusted him down the stretch way more than they did the young boy. Deion, it's a Monday night game. It's at Indianapolis. It's against the Chargers, who don't look great on the defense. So I pick him up, get him in there.
I feel like it's a game script type thing. Zach Moss, when they're within reach or ahead in the game, they're going to pound him. And when they're getting behind and they need to go to the passing game, that's Deion Jackson. So it just depends on game script. Chargers usually play close, tight-knit games, and they're easy to run on. That's why I like Zach Moss this week, and I'm going to play him at my flex, as a matter of fact, John. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. We'll see what happens. I pick them both up if you can.
Yeah.
They have a great schedule. All right. Noah Brown and the Cowboys, he had 2 touchdowns last week. Do we pick him up, or is it just a fluke?
Fool's gold. I've chased that Noah Brown train before. I've chased it. Never leads to any gold. Never leads to any happiness. Only heartbreak.
I agree, John. And another guy that you could say the same exact thing about, whether he was in Atlanta or now in Tampa, is Russell Gage. Also had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Julio Jones is probably going to be out. Who cares? But it does open up more playing time for Russell Gage as the wide receiver 3 on a pass-happy team. I don't know, man. I don't want to chase Russell Gage. If you're going to Russell Gage and playing him, you're in deep trouble.
Yep.
Or very desperate.
Yeah, here's my thing about Russell Gage. He couldn't beat out Julio Jones. Julio Jones is 185 years old. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He wasn't good enough to beat out Julio Jones.
He needed Julio to get hurt.
He needed Julio to get hurt. That's all you need to know. That's all you need. The reason he caught 2 touchdowns is because no one was covering him. Because everybody was like, wait, who's that guy? They don't. No.
We forgot all about him.
Don't draft Russell Gage, or don't go pick him up. Don't put him on your bench. Leave him.
Okay. This one I'm not sure we should do that with, and that's KJ Osborne. He had a career day, 10 catches, over 100 yards, touchdown, blah, 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 in a game where they were down 33-0, and they made the biggest comeback in football history and won that game 36-33. I know that's not going to happen again. It was crazy, but KJ Osborne seems to have proven himself as the wide receiver 2 on that team, and Adam Thielen seems to be fading and becoming like a distant third.
For sure. They were trusting. Yeah, I would pick him up. I don't know that I'd start him this week necessarily, but I would pick him up. And here's what I liked about that last week. They were throwing to him in some really important times, right? I mean, this wasn't just junk ball. This was really important 3rd down type passes they were throwing that guy. And he was coming up with the catches. He had a career day, and it was actually kind of fun to watch. It's a good-looking receiver, man. He's got some skills. And if he's starting to come into his own, him and Jefferson together could be scary next year.
Yeah, and Cousins
and maybe through the playoffs.
Showing his confidence in him as well. Cousins, in the important plays, he's throwing it to him. So
yeah, he's trusting him.
Yeah. Marquise Goodwin in Seattle. And the only reason I mention him is because it's most likely that Tyler Lockett is going to miss at least one, if not a couple games. Lockett. Yes, because he broke his finger and needed surgery. So that opens up a spot for Marquise. And in the past this year with Geno Smith, when that has happened, he's done pretty well. He's had a few touchdowns. So do we pick him up?
I don't mind it. I'm looking to see who they're playing this week. It's
Tampa.
Chiefs.
No, Chiefs. Sorry. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a shootout.
Yeah, that could be a shootout. Yeah, I don't mind picking him up.
Okay. I think one of the teams that's in contention in our big money league did pick him up, and maybe they're going to play him this week. So we'll see. Probably a good move.
The Chimneys.
And last but not least, for the same reason, in the same matchup, Noah Fant at tight end, because we got Marquise Goodwin coming in, but going out is Tyler Lockett. That opens up things at the tight end position. Noah Fanta Claus, it's Christmas time. This is when he shines. What do we think?
I mean, is it?
2 years ago.
Yeah, listen, the tight end is a crapshoot, and you could do worse, right? I mean, Noah Fant, when he's on and they're throwing to him, he's actually a really good looking tight end. He's a game script guy, kind of just like you were talking about earlier. So, but with Hot Lockett going out, I actually think I like Fant a little bit this week. I'm okay with it.
All right.
Johnny Ballgames Go with you gut.
All right, one of my favorite segments to do. We haven't done it in a while. Johnny, are you full? Are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to eat.
Go with your gut.
My gut's all ready to talk.
Johnny Ballgames Go with your gut segment, and we're going to do it a little different this time. What I'm going to do is give you two guys pretty close in rankings for the week, and we're going to say you have them both. Which one would you play over the other, okay?
I like it.
Like a little this or that, but with Johnny Ballgames Go with your gut. All right? Let's start. Do you play at quarterback Daniel Jones at Minnesota or Kirk Cousins at home against the Giants?
Kirk Cousins.
Why?
Not even close, dude. This isn't even close. Kirk looks good at home. The Giants defense is starting to fall apart a little bit. The deep backs are really suspect. The Vikings, they're not the greatest defense either, but I don't trust Daniel Jones. He's too up and down. I know he gets some points with his legs these days, but no, I go Cousins.
Okay. I think I would also go Cousins. Did you not see what he did last week? By the way, can I bitch for just a second, John?
Yes, you may.
Did you watch this game?
Sure did.
Okay, so we're down to the last few moments. They're down 7, the Vikings. And the Falcons are trying to run the clock out, and all they need to do is get one first down. Matt Ryan does a quarterback sneak on 4th and 1 and falls ahead of the line to gain and gets the first down. The refs incorrectly mark him a little short. They review it. They still just go with the call, and it gives the opportunity to Minnesota. On the next play, Kirk Cousins hits Cook for a screen pass that goes to the house, and two different teams get fantasy fat off that bullshit call. And it goes into overtime, and Cousins gets off in overtime. I mean, he got an extra 30 or so points in our league.
Do you know he threw for like some insane 380 or something, like some high number in just the fourth quarter and overtime that was more than most quarterbacks thrown in an entire game.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Him, Cook, and Jefferson. At least you got some Jefferson,
I did enjoy Mike Jefferson there. KJ Osborne, everybody eating. Even Thielen ate a little bit.
Also, the referees missed 2 blatant calls that were touchdowns for the Vikings. 2 from the same guy.
Listen, I have to tell you, this was some of the worst officiated I've ever seen.
It was. It really was.
And not even just in that game. I thought, all in all, this past weekend, I would give the officiating a grade A F. Awful. So many games affected by horrible. This isn't just a holding call that shouldn't have been called or a missed pass interference or whatever. These were things that affect the outcome of the game. And I mean big time affect the outcome of the game.
How about Brian Robinson when he scored the game-tying touchdown, or what we thought was the game-tying touchdown, and they called some bogus, like, illegal formation call.
While the receiver's out there checking with the referee.
He was asking the ref, am I good? Am I good?
Yes.
And normally they'll say, no, you need to move up, or, yeah, you're good. And the ref ignored him and then penalized him.
Right.
Thank you, refs. By the way, I have Robinson, so I'm pissed about it.
Then there was the pass interference at the end. I mean, that guy was definitely interfered with.
Definitely pass interference. We could go on and on with the refs this week. It was bad. All right, John, back to go with your gut. Geno Smith at the Chiefs or Tom Brady at Arizona?
Geno Smith of the Chiefs.
You like that matchup?
Yeah, I like the matchup. I like that it's probably going to be a little bit of a shootout. Chiefs want to keep that high ranking up there. They want to get that number one spot, so they're going to be playing full out. I think Geno's got a few things to prove. He looked a little bit better last week, but they still lost. They're going to be vying and a little bit desperate to get into the playoffs. So I like me some Geno there.
All right, so you're dissing the GOAT. By the way,
there's nothing. There's nothing. I got nothing for him.
Okay. By the way, little tease. We're gonna have something to say about the GOAT at the end of the show. It's gonna be good. All right. Last quarterback, this or that. Dak Prescott versus Philly at home in a game in which, he might not be playing, Mr. Hurts. Or Brock Purdy versus the Redskins. Commandos.
Ooh. Gut telling me Dak.
Okay.
Listen, here's what Dak does. Dak looks really good when Dak is supposed to look really good in prime time against really good teams. I don't know if they're in prime time. I think they are. I like the Cowboys a lot this week. I'm on them a lot. I know it's a 325 game. It's fine, but Cowboys at home against the Eagles. They're trying to prove something. I like Dak better in that situation.
All right. Jerick McKinnon, running back, versus Seattle. Okay. Or Miles Sanders at the Cowboys. Who are we playing?
I think I might like Jet a little bit more. I like McKinnon there. What do you think?
McKinnon's had back-to-back tremendous games. And if this gets into a shootout like we think it might, Jerick McKinnon is definitely their passing back. So, yes, I do. I think I like McKinnon better. He's coming on. He did this last season too. So you got to play McKinnon. Miles Sanders is like hit or miss. Like 1 week he's getting 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. The next week he's like a ghost. So,
and if you don't have Hurts to take some of that pressure off of him, I think it gets worse. So, and Cowboys defense is really good. So
ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave.
Yes, sir.
All right. In Tampa, do we play Rashad White or Leonard Fournette against Arizona in Arizona?
Touchdown, Lenny. Gut feeling.
Lenny's got more snaps last week, got more touches. Is it perhaps because Rashad White has fumbled a couple times lately? I'm not sure.
I think it is. I also think Lenny gets Lenny's better in the passing game than Rashad White is.
He's definitely a better pass blocker for sure.
Yeah, all around. Like he catches the ball great. He pass block. He starts to look better. He's starting to look better to me, like a little more nimble. Like earlier in the season, I thought he looked super slow and a little methodical, but I don't know. He looked pretty good last week.
All right. I want to kill this guy, so I'm not going to play him this week. But if you had these two guys, which one would you play? Deontay Foreman against the Lions at home in New York, or Zach Moss against the Chargers at home?
Zach Moss.
I agree. And it's not even close to me.
Yeah, Deontay Foreman is in a timeshare with a guy that they want to see how they can do with him, with Chuba.
Yeah. So I made a critical error this week. I have Ramondre Stevenson. I thought he was, not going to play, and he had the afternoon game. So I played Foreman in the morning because I was scared that Ramondre wasn't going to play. Yeah. And Foreman got me 3, and Ramondre Stevenson got like 36. That one hurt, Johnny. That Thanks,
That's
Bill
about
Belichick.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
All
about
right. Last running back, this or that. James Cook, Little Cook,
Mm.
at Chicago, or Brian Robinson Jr. at San Francisco.
Wow, you gave me a tough one on this one
That's
because
a
that
tough one.
is, yeah, I think I still have to go Robinson because I think the volume's there. And even though San Francisco's got a tough defense, I think they're a little bit more, they're tough to run on the edges, but you can run up the middle on them a little bit. And he's just going to get more volume. Whereas Cook, you never know what the game script's going to, kind of lead for him. So that's a really tough one. I think I'm going to go Washington or Robinson.
I'm going to go Cook. I'm afraid that if the Niners get ahead, which I fully expect them to do, then they go to Antonio Gibson in the catch-up game. Brian Robinson is not a pass catcher. I'm scared of that. Whereas James Cook, I mean, either if they're behind or ahead, they use him in the passing game. So I'm going to go Cook. And Chicago's defense is bad.
Yeah, but Washington's defense is really good. So I'm not sure San Francisco's going to get out that much on them.
We'll see.
It's this is a pick 'em a little bit for me. My gut's telling me though to go with Robinson.
All right, wide receivers: Chris Godwin at Arizona or Jalen Waddle at home against Green Bay and Miami.
Chris Godwin or Jalen Waddle. Oh, I like Waddle there. I like all the Dolphins actually against Green Bay.
Even if they get Jaired.
Yeah. Because I think Jair's going to go with Hill, which is why I really like Waddle.
I don't want to hear that, Johnny.
I know you don't, but that's what's
Bite your tongue.
Sorry. It's going to happen. I think Waddle's going to eat.
Okay. Michael Pittman Jr. versus the Chargers.
Okay.
Or Jerry Jeudy at the Rams. Oh, not even a hesitation.
No, Judy's playing out of his mind right now. Doesn't matter what the quarterback is either.
What if Cortland Sutton's back?
I still think he stays there. I think he's going to keep that number one. Cortland wasn't doing that much before he left. So
he really wasn't.
Yeah. I like Judy.
Man, the Chargers' pass defense has been better lately.
Yeah.
So you could be right. Okay. T. Higgins at New England. Or Garrett Wilson versus Jacksonville.
Oh. I'm going to go with T. And I'm going to tell you why. I like Garrett Wilson a lot, but I don't like Zach Wilson. I don't think Zach Wilson's a very good quarterback. So that's the other Wilson that I don't like. And I think what Bill Belichick does do really well is take away somebody who's really good. And I think they're going to do that with Jamar Chase. I think Higgins eats in this game.
By the way, Johnny, you know who else doesn't like Zach Wilson? Your mom.
I thought all moms liked Zach Wilson.
All right. Tight ends. Evan Ingram at the Jets or Pat Freiermuth versus the Las Vegas Raiders. By the way, Pat Freiermuth had 0.0 last week, so that makes this a tough call.
Honestly, it doesn't. I like Muth actually against the Raiders.
I do too, because the matchup is there. He's gotten a week to get a little healthier, and Evan Ingram at New York just sounds horrible. The Jets
defense is really good. Evan Ingram he's not consistent.
Although you say that, but he is consistent lately. He's been really consistent. He had 8 catches last week.
Yeah.
But it's
kind of weird. It was kind of a weird game. But the Jets defense is
Yeah, I agree. All right. How about Gerald Everett at Indianapolis or Dawson Knox at Chicago?
Gerald Everett at Indianapolis. Dawson Knox at Chicago. Indianapolis defense is better than we think. Chicago's defense is not very good. I'm gonna go with Dawson Knox.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Also, Donald Parham's back, and he just kind of muddies the waters for the tight ends. All right, John. Defense. One defensive matchup. Would you play? And this is actually directed for me. because I have both of these teams.
All
Tampa
right.
Bay at Arizona against possibly McSorley at quarterback, or the Denver defense at the Rams against Faker Mayfield.
Either. You really can't lose here. If it's McSorley, I go against him.
You know, you couldn't have said it better. I told my cousin the exact same thing. I said, if McSorley's the quarterback, I'm going Tampa. If he's not, I'm going to go Denver.
Yeah.
You
No, I think
can't
that's
go wrong.
yeah. No, but you can't go wrong.
All right, Johnny. We got 2 segments left. The last one's a little bit of a surprise. Don't want to spoil it.
Starts and sits of the week.
But we're going to do our starts and sits of the week. We did this last week. So these are guys who we started each position that are outside the top 5 that, you know, you might be streaming or you need some depth because of injury. And these are guys you can play in this particular matchup. And then we're going to tell you some guys that we're going to sit that are top guys normally that you just can't play this week because of the matchup. All right. John, quarterback start of the week is...
You know, you might go, well, duh, but he's actually had a real crap last 3 weeks. I'd get Tua back in your lineups against Green Bay. I think Tua goes off this week.
Tua, that's ballsy because he hasn't been good lately.
Yeah.
And he played okay against Buffalo. He did a little better than I thought with the weather and all that. But, man, his last 3 weeks, his completion percentage has been really bad. He hasn't been Tua at all. So
but
this is ballsy.
He's been on the road for 3 weeks.
And now they're at home.
LA, Buffalo. He's back at home against a very underperforming Packers defense. I really like Tua this week.
Okay. My quarterback start of the week is Geno Smith, who is 6th in our league, I believe. But anyway, at the Chiefs, great matchup, high-scoring game, shootout. They're playing for their playoff lives, so they're just going to air it out. So I like Geno Smith in this matchup. All right, John, who are you sitting at quarterback?
This pains me because, you know, I love these guys. I'm sitting Justin Fields.
Ooh.
I know he's a good running quarterback. I know he's putting up points that way. He's playing the Bills. Bills are trying to get that number 1 seed or keep that number 1 seed. I don't play them. I don't play Fields this week.
Okay. I'm going to sit, and this guy's been on fire. Trevor Lawrence, because they're playing the Jets in New York. There could be some weather. It's a Thursday night game. I hate Thursday night games. Not enough time to prep. I think it's the perfect sit for Trevor Lawrence. And I have Trevor Lawrence and I have Herbert. And so I've thought about each week, like, which one do I play? Herbert's been good until last week. And, Trevor Lawrence has been fantastic. But I can't play him this week. Gonna sit him. All right, John, running back start of the week is...
I like Najee Harris against the Raiders.
Nice.
I like a little Najee coming back. Najee's been playing well the last 3 or 4 weeks. Catching passes again, running hard. Raiders do not have a very good defense. I like me Najee this week.
All right, I'm going ballsy. I just picked him up on the waiver wire. I'm going to start Zach Moss. Against the Chargers, who don't have a good run defense. It's in Indianapolis at home. I think game script's going to call for him to get like 25 carries. And anytime you can get 25 carries from anyone, like, you're going to get some numbers. So
yeah,
I like the volume. And he could fall into the end zone, Johnny. Who are you sitting at running back?
This is going to be a hard one because I have him in a couple of leagues, but I am not feeling Travis Etienne this week. I know he had a great week last week, over 100. We like that. He's playing the Jets, just really good against the run. I'm not playing him.
No ATM? Oh.
I mean, I'm going to probably have to play him because I'm going to have to play him. If you've got better options, I would sit Etienne.
This one is an easy sit for me because he's been garbage and injured, and the Bengals just, I don't know, they're just not committed to the run game anymore. I'm going to sit Joe Mixon at New England. That's a yucky, tough defense to play against. He's going to get Bill Belichick. The weather could be an issue, and I'm going to pass.
I see more P. Ryan in that game.
I do too. All right, who are you starting at wide receiver?
You just asked me on the go with your ball game gut outside the top guys. I'm starting Jerry Jeudy this week. I'm in love with some Jerry Jeudy this week.
Yeah, Johnny made the prediction earlier this season that Jeudy was going to be good this year. Like, he liked him more than Cortland Sutton. Took a while, but here he is.
He's coming on.
Exploded, and if you're playing him in the playoffs, you're winning.
Yep.
Right. This guy I haven't played in weeks, John, and I was high on him, and I was wrong about him. But this week he's going to come through. That's Gabe Davis at Chicago. I think he's going to catch a long touchdown. This is the week.
Wow, you got your love for Gabe back a little bit. That's nice to see,
John.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Nice. All right. Who are you sitting at wide receiver?
This is going to be a little controversial. I'm sitting A.J. Brown this week. I do not feel A.J. Brown. Gardner Minshew's quarterback going against the Dallas Cowboys defense. They will, in fact, blanket the hell out of that guy and make somebody else beat them.
Wow.
Ballsy.
I'm going to sit Scary Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
And it's for one reason. It's at San Francisco. And their defense is freaking good.
Defense really good. Yeah.
So, no thanks.
No.
All right, John. Tight end of start of the week. I know you can't say his name, but go ahead and try.
Wait, hold on. I can say it when I look it up. So I'm going to have to look it up because I cannot remember his name.
John will tell you it's the tight end with the O at his first name.
Yeah, I can't even find my damn.
It's Chigum Okonkwo.
Yeah, that guy.
Say it, John. Chig Okonkwo.
Okonkwo. Chigoziem Okonkwo.
Chig for short.
Yeah, I'll call him Chig.
He's been good lately.
Chig started double digits the last 3 weeks in a row, and the Titans don't have anybody else. And it's
John,
Houston.
I got a Johnny Ballgame special for you at my tight end start of the week. You're gonna like this one because you predicted this 2 years ago because you're so clairvoyant. Jawan Johnson.
Yes, sir.
You know he scored a touchdown in 4 of his last 5 games?
I do know that, Chuck. Do you know how I know? Because I keep trying to pick his ass up, and I can never get him in any of the leagues.
I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him this week. I like the matchup. Dalton seems to have a thing for Jawan, so I'm going to keep it rolling. All right, who are you sitting at tight end?
So it hurts me a little bit because I also have him on many teams, but he just doesn't look the same, and he's limited again this week in practice. I don't think Deshaun's found him yet. That's Njoku. David Njoku, the Joker. I don't like him this week.
All right, and I'm going to sit Gerald Everett because the Colts have a sneaky good defense despite what happened against Minnesota. Donald Parham's back. All the receivers are healthy, so that kind of limits the amount of targets that he's going to get. I'm just going to sit him. I'm not going to play him this week. I'm looking elsewhere.
I'm with you. It doesn't excite me.
Do you hear something, John?
Is that Mr. T?
It's the Fantasy Reaper, Mr. T. Yes, sir. I hear him coming. This is your final segment of the show. Get ready, folks.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you're about to witness the Fantasy Reaper.
The Fantasy Reaper.
When you hear the sound of Mr. T meets Fantasy Regret, you know what we've got. We've got the Fantasy Reaper. Reaper, nice to have you back, sir.
Johnny freaking Ballgame. You know why I do it, Johnny? I do it for the kids. For the kids. This is their favorite segment. I'm going to take out somebody that we've been dying to take out for 2, maybe 3 years.
I'm very excited about this. What do you got for me?
All right, Johnny. I'm doing it. I'm going after the GOAT. That's right. I'm going to finally take out Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Yes.
It's his time, Johnny. The game has finally passed him by.
Nice.
The man is 45 years old. He's lost his wife. He's losing games. He's lost the zip on his ball. And now he's about to lose his soul. But it's been a great career, Johnny. I mean, let's face it. He's the winningest quarterback of all time. He
Can't take it away.
leads all time in passing yards, wins, TDs, completions, Super Bowls, and TDs thrown with a deflated football.
Hey-o.
Johnny, why does Tom Brady like Bitcoin?
I don't know. Why does Tom Brady like Bitcoin?
Because it's a hedge against inflation.
Ah, you see what you did there? Nice.
You know, Tom Brady's always been on a diet during the football season, except on Sundays, because that's his cheat day.
Oh, Fantasy Reaper.
You know what, though? When it comes to trick plays, you got to hand it to Tom Brady. I mean, really, you got to hand it to him because the dude can't fucking catch. What a superior athlete Tom Brady is. But really, I mean, let's face it. Tom Brady's so old that when he won his first Super Bowl, it was in standard definition.
Whoa. Technology joke and an old joke. You're welcome, America.
I mean, why does Tom Brady and his ex-owner, what do they still have in common, Johnny?
I don't know.
Well, they both went to Florida for a happy ending. I mean, what about Brady and Ronda Rousey? What do they have in common?
I don't know. They both. Oh, never mind.
They both struggled to last longer than a minute with a Brazilian woman. Hey-o!
Hey.
All right. I got one more, comparison joke.
Sure.
What do Giselle, Eli Manning, and Nick Foles all have in common?
I don't know.
All three managed to take a ring away from Tom Brady. Hey-o!
Hey! Ho!
Tom Brady's favorite sexual activity is deflatio.
Wow.
I mean, let's be honest, Johnny. The only difference between Tom Brady and Lance Armstrong is that Lance cheated with only one deflated ball.
That was awful. Wow.
You know what, Tommy? You should have stayed retired, bro, last season. You shouldn't have come back to football because you just don't have it anymore. I mean, Kyle from South Park said it best when he said, dude, you don't have enough? I mean, you've got tons of money, a jet, the biggest rock band in the world, a hot wife, and you've been knighted. At some point, can't you just fuck off? And that's what I came here to do today, Johnny. It's time to deflate his soul and his fantasy journey. Go back to your wife and fuck off.
Wow.
Tom Brady, the Reaper, is taking you down to Chinatown.
That is amazing. That's one of your best Reaper segments ever, Reap. But what I got out of it is that Tom Brady has lost the zip in his deflated balls and can only last a minute.
I mean, you can't sum it up any better than that, Johnny.
That's what I got out of it.
You totally nailed it.
Yeah, that's what she said. Anyway, Reaper, always a pleasure to have you, buddy. Let's see who you come back to ask a question next week, because you do it for who again? Remind the people who you do it for again.
I mean, come on, Johnny. I do it for the kids and for Tony.
Sir Poops, a lot. We miss you this week. We also miss Mr. Royce this week. So,
I really miss Tony because he seems to laugh his ass off when I come on here. He really makes it more fun. Tony, get your ass back here.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah.
All right, Johnny Ballgame. It's been another good episode, fun times. And you know what, man? I just want to say I can't do this without you, man. Every time I get to come on here with you guys, I get pumped up again. It's like just when you're down in fantasy football, you just come on in and do the show, and it's like brings life back into you. I love it.
Dude, I feel exactly the same way. I think I even texted you guys over the weekend. I quit fantasy football. That's how bad of a week I was having. It ended up actually being a pretty good week, but yeah, it's good to come back on here. It's always good for my soul. So thanks for having us, Chuck.
And we would like to thank you, viewers. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Hit that bell because we do this every week, and we will definitely be back next week. So check back with us. Appreciate all your support. Royce, get back on the show. Tony, we'll see you next week. And you folks, we'll see you all next week.
Absolutely. Peace.
Aloha.